back with another stout for these hot summer nights. Let's get right into it. See if we can cool ourselves down with a nice, boozy, sticky, mapley solution. Man, these are really hard. You guys did a good job. Let's dig in. Alright. Going with a beer from a brewery I don't really talk about much, despite it being not too far from me. This is Morning Sips by Resident, which is a collab with Mostra Coffee, which is one of the best coffee places I've ever been to. So let's dig in. You know, like, when you open up a new bottle of, like, syrup, it has the consistency, it's very sticky. It smells like maple syrup. So that's already spot on right there. Just flavor profile. So this is not bourbon barrel aged, which I think is the one improvement if they really do another one of these. But it's Imperial Stout with Ugandan vanilla beans and Mostra coffee. Specifically Vietnamese Lotus coffee. On the front end, the syrup is probably the strongest part. The coffee blend is pretty good. Man, the coffee is really blended super well. This is a really good beer. Man, I usually don't get like this too into it. I mean, I drink a lot of good beer, but damn, they did a really good job. I've never had any of the Sips series beers, so Baby Sips is another one that people know pretty well. Morning Sips, to my knowledge, this is the first one that they've done of this variety. It's not uncommon for you to hear, when you hear the name Resident Brewing, usually people will bring up one of the Sips series beers. As far as who Resident is, Resident's based out of San Diego. If any of you are familiar with going downtown, if you're local, or even if you fly into San Diego, it's off of C Street, which is not too far from most of the main drag in downtown. If you're downtown, highly recommend going to Resident. Resident is pretty fantastic. It's not just a brewery there. They also do have a bar in there. And in terms of selection, it's not just all of the Resident beers, but they usually have stuff on like the brewery, Bottle Logic, a lot of the other like more local San Diego stuff. I know I've seen Burning Beard on there, Lost Abbey. So I honestly recommend giving any of the Resident stuff a try. I'm admittedly not super familiar with Resident. I've had a handful of their stuff at festivals, but it wasn't until like the last like maybe year or so before I started really getting into their stuff. Another beer, in addition to recommending just this one, another one is Shattered Souls, which that's a Weathered Souls collab, which hopefully at some point, if I ever make it out to San Antonio, I can get some Weathered Souls to actually review for you guys. But all of the Resident Stouts are pretty solid from the ones I've tried. Shattered Souls is fantastic. This one is absolutely great too. If you're into anything that's like waffle or pancake or even just general syrup flavor, this is great. This is something I could have like all day and all night. You know, I'm a beer lover, so maybe that doesn't mean much, but definitely could see drinking this in the morning with a nice stack of pancakes. Now, as far as the coffee portion, Mostra is a super legendary roaster, not just in San Diego, but they won Roaster of the Year previously. And their stuff's like legendary. They do a lot of collabs with other breweries. They've done stuff with J. Wakefield, like Toppling Goliath. Bottle Logic Star November from 2019. That's a Mostra collab too. So if you see any of the Mostra branding on it, and I can show you that little M. Okay, let me read that. M here. You see that? That's a stamp of quality right there, and you better pick that beer up. Now, it goes without saying, since I was enamored just with the first sip of this, highly recommend this beer. Right now at Untappd, at this current moment in time, it's sitting at a 4.36 out of 5. That's pretty stellar. I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5, so I'll go ahead and bump it up and tip them a little. So at the time of making this video, this beer is available. I went and pre-ordered it when the sale went up for it, but I have seen it around San Diego at bottle shops. So if you're in San Diego, you can probably find this. If you're not in San Diego, either just in Greater SoCal or somewhere else in the country, if I'm grateful enough to have people to watch these videos somewhere around the world. Resin stuff, it's not super readily available, but if you can find someone that can get you the bottled series, either the Sips series or really any of the resin or bottles, highly recommend trying to trade for them. They're pretty reasonably priced. This bottle in particular, I think I had paid $23 for it around about then with tax. Super affordable beers, super drinkable beers. Anything with resin, go ahead and give it a try, especially if it's any of their collab series, whether it's with Mostra or any of their hazy IPAs that they make that are also super well known. Highly recommend picking up those too. Now, in terms of like the flavor profile of this, syrup is heavily present. That's one of the bigger things that I look for, like with any kind of stout that portrays itself as like a breakfast, like maple stout or some kind of pastry stout with syrup in it. If the syrup is weak, that's already like docked a few points there. This doesn't have that problem. Not just the taste, but the smell. It smells absolutely phenomenal. I really can't put it into words. It's very how would you say? It's very potent. Your nose just ends up like just being overwhelmed with sweetness. Coffee is blended super well. I wouldn't expect anything less for anything that has Mostra's name attached to it. The coffee doesn't at all interfere with the syrup or the sweetness to it. And in fact, I'd say probably more balances it out so you're not hit with sugar bomb. No offense to no offense to any of Bottle Logics releases, but now in terms of a beer that's similar but not necessarily as widely available, Weathered Souls kicked out the Waffle House, which I was fortunate enough to try at the Mostra Festival this past year before the end times came. That's probably the closest beer I would compare this to. In terms of something that's maybe a little bit more relatable and at least in terms of something that's a little bit more widely available in terms of comparison, Port Brewing's board meeting, although that's not a sweet syrupy stout, the coffee blend of that is super similar to this. Same thing with Pizza Port's Bacon and Egg Breakfast, which is a Bird Rock Roasters collab, which maybe someday I'll do a video on that if Pizza Port starts doing bottled versions of it. That's something I would compare this to in terms of just how well blended the coffee is with this. Now, I've mentioned Mostra quite a few times. If you're at all familiar with just heavy stouts and some of the more hype craft breweries, Mostra does a lot of stuff with a lot of different legendary breweries: J. Wakefield, Toppling Goliath, Bottle Logic. In fact, Dark Star November from last year, 2019, that it uses Mostra coffee as well. So that's really the seal of approval for anything that has any caffeination to it. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it. If you like this review, highly recommend checking out any of my other reviews on beers. Look forward to doing the next one. Got a few hidden gems in the fridge that might see soon. Starts with a J, ends with a field. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. And you can also check me out on Instagram at Matt the Destroyer and check me out on Untappd at BFHPA. And with that being said, catch you on the hop side. Well, guys, I think it's going to do it. If you like this review,